This is a 45-minute class. I've called it From Yang to Yin. The idea behind today's class is that, one, it's the start of the week after a long weekend, so everybody's a little bit stiff perhaps after sitting in their chairs for half a day. And two, it's quite smoky here in Victoria due to smoke coming in from Washington State. So the air quality is not that great. So I thought I'd take it a little bit slower today. We don't want to be huffing and puffing. And I guess the third thing is I have construction next door to me, so all my windows are closed, and I don't really want to get all sweaty. So we're going to take it a little bit easier today, but start with what's known as a kind of Yang style practice, a little bit more challenging, and then shifting to quieter, slower, longer holds as we go through the class. So for this class, you might want to have a bolster or a couple pillows or whatever just to lean into on some of the postures, and any other kind of equipment that you might like to have at hand. So with all of that preamble, let's just get started in a seated position, sitting up nice and proud. I'm sitting on my cushion, and begin to arrive. Begin to let your awareness sink down into your body, to whatever's touching the mat. To feel a sense of landing, feeling your whole body landing. And allowing yourself to relax in those obvious areas of tightness or tension that you're perceiving. And beginning to develop a nice, regular, slow cadence and rhythm to your breathing. Equal inhales and exhales. Letting your belly rest, relax, your rib cage be receptive, your throat receptive, even your nostrils, your sinuses receptive. And marking the start of our practice as we usually do with a shared breath. On your next exhale, empty your lungs. Take a nice big inhale. And a long sigh. And welcome once again to your yoga practice. So good to have you here. I think it might be Margaret that's watching. There may be some other people, but welcome, Margaret, if that's you. I can't see as far as my phone. And we'll begin our practice sort of a little bit towards the back of the mat, just leaning forwards. Come onto your toes, heels in, toes out, and then onto a squat, starting with a squat. So take your feet as wide as you need to take them to try and get your feet flat on the mat. Narrower feet is more challenging, and for some people there's not enough room in their ankles or their hips. Maybe they might be up on their toes, and if that's the case, you can lean forwards into your hands and just gently try to nudge the weight back a bit. It may not go there, so trying to find a place where you can sustain the shape for a bit of time here. So in this kind of practice, we're trying to adopt a sense of stillness in the body. So nice and still, not needing to move. We're trying to allow our breathing to be consistent just as we began the practice, long and slow, rhythmic, smooth. It's fairly natural. There's not a force to it. And the mind, your mind, is present, spacious, clear, without actually dwelling on any one particular thing, just kind of a spaciousness. And that spaciousness can be had by a few ways, just listening and allowing the space around you to envelop you. It could be by looking and allowing your vision to go out to the sides, to the periphery, embracing your entire field of vision. Or you can have that spaciousness too by narrowing your focus, say, down to the tip of your nose and noticing the movement of breath there. Nice. And then slowly let's release this. So bring your hands down. Come onto your hands and knees and just kick out one leg, kick out the other leg. Yes, releasing any of the tension that may have arisen from that delicious squat. And from this tabletop position, take your knees a little bit wider, feet a little bit closer together, hands underneath your shoulders, and then pushing back to child's pose without really moving anything. So hands stay where they were, knees stay where they were. We'll do a couple of prana pumps from here. So as you inhale, come up on your hands and knees. Don't move your hands and knees, just come up on your hands and knees. As you exhale, try to keep your shoulders gathering. It's like you press your hands down and rotate away from you. Bring your chest down first. And then inhale, shimmy forwards, pressing in the mat with your hands, sort of a high cobra. And exhale to child's pose. So going like that, not moving the hands or the knees. Inhale, up. Exhale, chest down. I like to lift my feet here. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. And one more time, inhale, tabletop. Exhale, heart down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. And then just pause in child's pose for a few breaths. Nice. And then let's slowly come out again up on hands and knees. This time, square up your shins. Now, as I said, I don't want to move too fast. I don't want to get the breath rate up too high. Just given all the smoke in the air, it's not the best thing to be breathing heavily here. Inhale, extend your right leg long, and as you exhale, bring your right foot between your hands. Dragon pose. So dragon pose, it can be just like this. The right leg forwards, left leg back. Your left toes could be tucked and left knee lifted. That's up to you. You don't have to lift the knee. You could bring your right hand inside your right foot and walk the right foot out to the side. You could maybe use your bolster and come down onto your elbows for some other system of support. Or you could roll open your right foot. So find a place today that you can sustain for a bit of time. We're working on a little bit of hip compression, leg extension through the left leg, and trying to come to that place of stillness, not needing to move, easy breathing, spacious mind, just taking our time here, letting the pose unfold. If at any point it gets like to be too much, well, maybe you drop the back knee, maybe you come down a little bit, maybe you do halfway down, who knows. Allow yourself to find pose that works for you. Or simply noticing, right? It's a very meditative practice. You're noticing your breath, you're noticing your thoughts, noticing sensations arising in the body. Noticing how we might be like, oh, can we get out of this already? You know, just letting that stuff arise and pass through. And then slowly, let's bring it back in. And take your right leg back. Take your knees wide for a moment. Take child's pose, just letting that release. And then we'll take it to the other side. So come back up, shins parallel. Extend your left leg, bring it forwards, roughly between your hands. And so here's your first option. Just kind of leaning on the left knee, right leg extended, right foot flat. That's option one. You could tuck your back toe and lift your back knee, making it more active. You could wiggle your left foot out to the side. It could be turned away a bit too, if you like. You could roll your foot open, or any other variation thereof. Maybe you come down onto your elbows again and rest on some kind of support. And you're trying to make peace with the pose. Finding a place where your body can remain still, unlike mine. No, I really needed a practice like this today. I've been sitting in front of the computer for about 4.5 hours already. Ungodly meetings starting at 7:30 in the morning. So taking it slow and getting rid of the crankiness in the body. Coming back to spaciousness, calmness, clarity. Nice. And then let's slowly transition again. Just take that front knee back, knees wide, child's pose. And then from child's pose again. Come back up, opening your hands towards our knees and swing your legs out front. So here, I'm going to move towards a pose called dragonfly pose in yin. You're sitting up nice and tall. Maybe you lean back a bit into your hands and you take your legs out nice and wide. You're kind of push your heels away from you. Backs of your knees down to the ground. Sitting on your sitting bones, you might want to move the flesh of your bum out the way. And then keeping a nice tall spine, you can walk yourself forwards a little or a lot, or maybe you're just leaning there. And again, a bolster may be a nice addition. Take the bolster in front of you and rest down on it. Or maybe you come all the way down to the mat with your elbows. So here, there's obvious sensation through the backs of my legs here. We're trying to meet that with a little bit of softness, stillness. Not trying to get the body to fire muscularly, but simply to relax. And if it seems like your body is completely resistant to the position we're in, well then back it up a little bit or change the angle of your legs so that your body can relax. And from that place then sort of tiptoe your way towards that sort of elusive edge and hang out just before the edge. Notice how your body will open and then keep wandering in to that edge. It's a fairly quiet practice. I hope you don't mind. Like I said, it's kind of what I needed today, so that's what I'm doing. slowly, slowly. Let's rise back up. Maybe shift your bolster out the way. Bring your legs out front. Give them a shiggle, give them a shake. From here, just leaning back a bit, we'll bring your right foot in beside your left knee. This is option 1. We're moving towards a twist. Option 2 is to take your right foot and jump it over your left knee. So it's outside the left knee. That's option 2. Option 3 is you'll lean over to the left a bit and bring your left foot in beside your right hip, not under, but beside. Now you take your right hand behind you, wherever you are, any one of those 3 positions. Draw your belly in, and then begin twisting to the right. And you can use your left hand on your right knee, perhaps, or your elbow, or good old stop sign kind of shapes. Many different variations. Begin to get into the twist and feel a little bit of elongation through the outer right hip, perhaps the IT band. So we're moving up to the edge of sensation, resting there, trying to find poise there, trying not to pressure our way through it, but to be present with it. And ultimately, if you study Buddhism at all, being present with what's arising there, you will notice its transient nature, that it's not static, that it shifts, that it changes, that it moves. Everything is impermanent. And as a meditation on the body, that's what a pose like this will offer you. So, how do you meet impermanence? Well, you don't cling, you don't grasp, you don't hold. You allow it to move. It's always changing. So this is a part of being gracious to yourself. Go in maybe a little bit deeper if it feels appropriate. You want to change the intensity. And then slowly, slowly, let's unwind. So as you unwind, turn completely to the left and just hang out there for a bit. So we're twisting our spine in the other direction, decompressing the spine. And then slowly, slowly unwind. So how do we get out of this? The same way we came in. Lean to the left, bring your left leg out. Jump your right foot over the left leg, extend your right foot. Ta-da! Do the same thing on the other side. So left foot comes in, there's option 1, maybe you twist from there. Option 2, left foot outside the right knee, that's a different one. And the last one, lean right. Right foot comes in beside your left hip. Sit up proud, draw your belly in, begin to twist into it. Oh my. Different sensation for this guy's hip. Oh. So just going up to where resistance exists, and maybe coming in, going out a bit to find a place, like my body just decided to release right there after going in and out a few times. And eventually finding a place where you can just sort of sustain the shape for time. I guess I should try playing music and see whether or not the licensing people will give us a whack upside the head or not. Maybe next time I'll play music in the background and see what happens. If you notice tension coming in other places in the pose than the obvious ones, like in your shoulder or your face, well, try to meet that too with a bit of calmness. And then let's just slowly unwind, turn all the way to the right, little counter twist. And then back to center. So lean to the right, right leg out. Left foot jumps, left foot extends, give them a shiggle, give them a shake. Butterfly pose or oyster shell, feet together. And you can position your bum near or far from your feet. Hands can hold on to your feet. You can lift up and then round forwards. This pose, if you hold it for a long period of time, you could take something like a bolster like this and rest your forehead against it, and that way you can just really yield into the shape. But I won't do that. That's definitely an option. There's also the option to kind of lift your shins, your feet a bit further away. And then you take your hands underneath your shins and hold your feet and round in. This is called oyster shell. And this kind of lets your shoulders get involved as well. And it seems to be getting more to my outer hips, whereas this bound angle pose is getting into the inner groins a bit. So it depends on which area of the body you're trying to negotiate. So try both positions, see which one is calling to you, and then hang out there. Finding a place where your body can be still, where your breath can be even and rhythmic and full, and your mind can be spacious, present, calm. Just allowing yourself to be with whatever's arising. Seeing its temporary nature, its transient nature, letting it shift, letting it move. Let's again slowly rise up, draw your knees in, give yourself a little bit of a hug. Separate your feet and then just lean back and lift your bum from the mat, reverse table. Shiggle, shake it out a little bit. Make those hips happy again. Whatever that takes for you, it can be quite intuitive. And then slowly come down. Now position yourself so that your left knee is pointing right up the middle of your mat. And then flip your right leg over. We're going towards deer pose. Option to go into pigeon pose if you prefer. I like this because it's easier on my knees. And here again, a bolster out front might be a nice addition. So from this position where your left hip is firmly against the ground, left knee on the ground, right leg bent, you can turn towards the head of your mat. You can even keep turning a little further if that seems appropriate today. And then drape yourself over top of that left leg, offering a bit of compression. And just kind of hang out there. Oh my. Yoga does not necessarily have to be always vigorous, performative, external. Ultimately, yoga is an internal art. with an intention to allow you to see the true nature of yourself. That's what yoga is about. It's not just an esoteric exercise. You know, it's not just Instagram. I don't know how many people I see doing handstands in the middle of the room and calling it yoga. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyhow, enough blathering on my part. Just hang out here, deer pose. If it feels better to extend your back leg further, go for it. It might be more interesting. And as I said before, if it feels better to keep rotating to the left a bit more, try that. This feels quite nice. Notice where things are opening. Trying to allow energy to move through your joints as cleanly as possible. Nice. Let's slowly come up. I guess we only have 45 minutes, so we do have to get through a few things. So slowly here we'll come back to squaring ourselves up in a seated position. Take your right knee up the midline of the mat, left leg behind you, a little bent or maybe moving to straight. And then start to rotate your torso towards the right a little bit or a lot. And then again, compress yourself down onto your weighting arms. So if you didn't have a bolster, what would it look like? Well, you could just interlace your fingers and relax there, or maybe you stack your fists up and rest your forehead. This fist stack, kind of nice if it takes any of the tension out of the neck and the shoulders. Lets you experience it more into your hip. Even relax your jaw here. And as I usually point out, your breath is your guide. So if you're breathing is at all choppy or short or labored in some way, you've gone to a place where your body's just not happy and you need to back away from it a bit. Try to find a place where you can maintain that nice, easy rhythm of breathing. And then notice what you notice there. Notice the more subtle sensations. And if there's nothing there, well then add a little bit more variability in there. And then start to see what arises. In some places in the body, whatever, stuck there, can have associated mental stuff as well. So in making peace with the body, we're also making peace with our stored mental memories, thoughts, feelings, states. That feels good to me. And now let's slowly come back out of this, come back up, and take yourself back to child's pose. Knees can be wide, hands forwards. And then back up we come. Twisting child. So for twisting child, make sure your knees are pretty wide. This gives you a good base of support. You take your left hand, keep it where it is, and just slide your right palm face up underneath your left shoulder to a place where you can get that right shoulder down, right cheek down, and then negotiate it from there. You can take your left hand up the mat if you like, or you could take your left hand around your back if you like. Whatever feels good. Offering a compression of the right shoulder, a bit of a twist of the spine. More active would be to extend your left leg. So your knee is lifted, your toes tucked. And you may even dare to lift your left leg off the ground and try to create poise and presence here. Not so easy. Not really what this guy wants to do today, so find a spot that works for you. So these compression type poses, or compressing the right shoulder, the idea is that the benefits come once we release the pose. So there's a flush of fluids or a release that happens once we release the pose. So let's slowly bring that left hand by your face, and then inhale, swoop the right hand to the ceiling, and exhale, bring your right hand down. Take it to the other side, left palm flips over, left hand through the gap, left shoulder down, left cheek down, and then negotiate what you're going to do with your right hand. Could be forwards, it could be around your back. The right leg could be extended with the toes tucked. Interestingly, on this side, this feels better for me. I kind of like the extension into my calf muscle. But wherever you're at, try to find stillness again. Come back to those basic principles. Nice and still in the body, even in the breath, spacious in your mind. Such a yummy practice. And okay, let's transition. So if your back leg's lifted, bring your knee down. Bring your right hand by your face. Press with your right hand. Left hand reaches up and down it comes. Beautiful. From this place, just lean back, swing your legs out front again, and we'll lie right down. So lie down on your back, give your knees a little bit of a hug, take your knees for a bit of a spin, either together or independently, like egg beaters, one way and the other way. Nice. And then just keep your right knee in, extend your left leg long. Hold on to your right knee with your interlaced fingers. And then take that right hip for a little bit of a journey, circling it around. Maybe you take it way out to the side, who knows. But find a spot that feels like there's something going on there, or something that would be interesting there. And then at that spot, begin to find stillness. So for me, it's a slight external rotation. I've got quite a bit of activity in my arms. It feels productive. But I'm just hanging out, same intensity, same location. easy flow of breath. Nice. Maybe oomph it up at the end if you like. And then extend your right leg long, bring your left leg in, interlace your fingers. Notice which way you interlace your fingers. Do the way that feels weird, so switch up the digits one notch. Take your left hip for a bit of a spin or external rotation or whatever feels good. And then again, locate a spot that you feel would be productive, and then begin to create a bit of a load. And find some equanimity there. Making peace with the pose, making peace with your body, making peace with yourself. All these things are related, do you know that? Can we befriend ourselves through our yoga practice? Give it a good pull towards the end. And then extend both legs long again. Just hang out there, just feel what's going on. How are we doing on time? All right, let's slowly do kind of a counter pose here, bridge pose, a little bit more active. You walk your feet in, tickle your heels, lift your bum, send your arms up overhead, and then take your arms wide, more like a T shape. And then create lots of pressure in your feet, almost like you're kind of smoosh your upper back across the mat. So you're trying to use your feet to press your shoulders further apart and away from you. And then just hang out there. You can add pressure or remove it. You can let your bum drop a little bit to make it a little bit easier. And then from this place, try to move from your upper spine to your lower spine, slowly placing your entire spinal column down onto the mat, just as you descend down. Pause once your tailbone touches. Nice. And then draw your knees in towards you. Hold on to your knees and let your both knees drop over to the right. Let your left shoulder extend, look to the left. A spine twist, outer hip opener. I'm using my right hand to hold my knees in place. Nice, easy breathing. And then slowly unwind, come to neutral. Pause in neutral. Let things settle. And then knees draw in and drop to the left. Maybe you shuffle the hips to the right a bit. Knees are drawn in quite a bit. Left hand might hold your knees where they are. Right shoulder drops, you look to the right. And if things are not cooperating, and my body wants to fire a muscle here, you can try to negotiate that, adapt the pose a bit. Notice again the quality of your breathing. It's all about the breath. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to make your way into final Savasana. Lying down on your back, extended nice and long. Feet can flop open. Palms face the ceiling usually. Little tuck of your tailbone. Little tuck of your chin to create length in your spine. And as you arrive on your back, nice big inhale. And a long exhale. So continue like this as long as you need, my yogi friends. And as you go about the rest of your day today, may you be filled with loving kindness towards yourself and towards everyone you meet. May you meet each and every moment of your day exactly as it is without needing to color it with your preferences, your aversions. Just meet it as it is. May you be well in your body, your heart, and your mind. And may you be peaceful and at ease. Let's take a shared breath wherever you're at. Exhale, empty your lungs. Take a big inhale. And a long sigh. And thank you for practicing along with me. So nice to have you here. Hope to see you again sometime. Namaste.